Go.
I was waiting on you.
And go.
And now. My stomach hurts now. Oh, Lord. Okay. Are we taking it from the top?
From the top, tippy top.
Welcome to the Yummy and Fearless podcast with the SideChicks. I'm Yummy.
I'm Dark Phoenix.
Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. What else were we saying?
So today we have a very special episode for you because we're going to talk about something that happened in history today, and we're going to talk about what not to do when you're rioting. Okay?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And then what?
Sort of a how not to list. And then we have a quick music review. This is something a little bit different that we're doing, but we got this bomb group out of the UK that contacted us, and we like the song. Right. So we just want to, review the song and suggest that maybe you check it out. So we're going to do that. And then what?
And then we're going to get into some relationship stuff. We're going to talk about non-sexual marriages. What do you call them? Platonic marriages?
Platonic marriages. So relationships that don't involve vaginas, peens, mouths, buttholes, GOP. No buttholes even.
Damn.
And this is different for us.
Yeah.
Because you know how we talk about peens, GOP, which is great oral performance.
Mm-hmm.
So
stick around to the end. It's gonna be fun. So
yeah, check it out. So 3 different things, but a little something for 2022. So check it out.
Let's get into it.
This is a significant anniversary in our history.
Yeah.
January the 6th is a where were you when this happened?
It absolutely is. I mean, it's not one that we would necessarily celebrate, but I think it does bear mentioning that we are 1 year removed from a hell of a day.
Oh, hell yeah. And had I known that the insurrection, which is what we're talking about, of the Capitol, had I known that it was going to occur and that there was going to be nonstop footage, I would have called off work so that I could relaxed and took in all of the footages, as Cardi B would say, and because that shit was crazy.
Yeah,
every part of it.
I couldn't believe it. It's still unbelievable when you see it. Like when you see it back, it's like, did that really happen?
Yes, and I was in shock. I was in literal shock. Like
it almost felt like a movie or something, or like
right. I'm like, is that really happening? Are men really climbing walls like Spider-Man out there?
I'm like, certainly they're not going to let this happen. Come on, guys. Yeah.
Crazy. So the FBI, 1 year later, they're still searching for 350 insurrectionists that were caught on camera. They've identified 100 of these people, but they've yet to arrest them, interestingly enough.
Yeah.
So this continues still to this day, but with it being the anniversary, you're seeing a lot of commentary on the day and what happened, blah, blah, blah. So we thought we'd do some things you shouldn't do during a riot.
Right.
That's what we're calling it?
Yeah. Like shit you shouldn't do if you're going to reach the Capitol. How about that? Even though they only can identify 100 of the, say, 300 outstanding culprits, they'll find you. Which leads me to the first thing that I think shouldn't do during a riot. Don't take pictures of yourself and put it on social media reaching the Capitol.
Yeah. Don't Instagram live.
People Instagram live. Some of them were even interviewed by local and news outlets.
You're committing a federal offense. Well, how about if you are a world famous Olympic athlete, don't wear an Olympic swimming jacket.
Why would you do that?
Why would you wear that? And in addition to that dude is 6'6". So he was towering
Fireball.
over. Yeah, when you see the footage, it's like clear because he's towering over everyone. He was on the team with Michael Phelps. Yeah.
Embarrassing. Do you know his name?
His name is Clete Keller. I think that's how you pronounce his first name. It's Klete. He's a 39-year-old fella, and he recently pleaded guilty, and he's facing 2 years of jail time for his role in the riot. And then here's the crazy part. So the organization Swam, which covers competitive swimming, they saw him and identified him.
Shut up. I'm calling him Cletus. His name is Cletus today.
Let's go with Cletus.
Damn, Cletus.
Cletus Keller.
Damn.
Yeah,
dumbass.
He has 5 Olympic medals. But what's also sort of interesting about this gentleman, and I think could be the case with some of the other people attached to this ideology, is apparently he had an identity crisis once he stopped swimming. And he also suffered from depression, but which is a thing, this happens to people for lots of different reasons, whether you are a professional athlete, lots of different things, but you cannot riot as an expression of that.
Right.
But I would think a lot of people that participated in this had some identity crisis.
Absolutely.
And even an Olympic athlete could do the same. So don't be an Olympian.
Yes.
And wear your U.S. team paraphernalia. Definitely
don't wear your shit, your paraphernalia out there. He wasn't the only one, too. There were other rioters who, wore emblems and things like that. Stuff for where they work. Supposed to have been at work up there tearing up the Capitol.
Right. Some people had their work badges on. The fuck? But on the same note of not wearing easily identifiable things, the guy, Jacob Chansley, the QAnon shaman, the guy that wore the horns.
The horns, yeah.
With the fur and no shirt with the easily identifiable tattoo.
Yes.
Shouldn't do that either.
Yeah. You're really easy to identify. Like if you're going to be a rioter and do things that are illegal, can you not wear a costume that makes everybody know who you are? Like
who you are. I mean, come on. And once he was arrested, his mother, both he and his mother were making the case that he needed to be released because he was only accustomed to eating organic food.
You gotta be shitting me.
I bullshit you not.
You have to be shitting me.
I bullshit you not. And it's like, if you care that much about your motherfucking organic food,
God.
Don't riot. Don't try to overthrow the government.
You're gonna be eating hot dogs, boo, or bologna sandwiches. Right. What else shouldn't you do?
I don't think you should do this in this century, which is erect a gallows and threaten to hang the vice president.
Egregious, yes.
Did you think you would see a gallows
Not
in
at
your
all.
lifetime?
Never.
Don't do that.
In real life, like
for real.
In real time, and like real people doing that. So we got
for real. Like, I'm serious. Somebody out of all of us, when we were getting the wood, getting the nails,
somebody should have been like, you know what, guys? I don't think this is
a motherfucking gallows. Like, what the fuck? A gallows? And put a fucking noose on it?
You think he had help?
Oh, he had help.
So that means there were 2 dumbasses or more.
That was a team effort or more.
I mean, you had to put that in your car. You had to think about it. It took time to get up those stairs and past the police. Mm-hmm. And nobody said anything about it.
Nobody was like, Playboy, a fucking gallows. I know what we doing. We protest. All right, let's say that we think we protesting, but even if we do a fucking gallows, to me, I'd be like, that's like the tiki torch dudes.
Yes.
Like something somewhere. Somebody should have been like, you know what?
Like, this doesn't seem right.
We own one, but that's a step way too motherfucking far. The other thing that tripped me out was the use of bear spray.
Did they actually use it?
Yes.
Yeah, against the police, yeah. That gives you some clues into kind of who these people are. Who carries bear spray anyway?
Who the fuck carries?
I don't have any bear spray. I don't even know anyone who has random bear spray.
That's my fucking point. I don't know anybody who ever was like, for a legitimate reason, was like, let me make sure I have bear spray.
Let me interrupt to the story.
So how then, how twisted are you to take something that would take down
a bear,
fucking bear, and use it on a fellow human being?
Not cool.
Not fucking cool. Now, I'm going to tell you when I almost slid down the wall of my house in disbelief.
What?
When them motherfuckers was climbing the wall themselves. I said, you ain't climbing. You are not climbing the wall wall like Spider-Man.
Like, motherfucker, do you have...
But the crazy part was, it was clear that these people were not necessarily
novice?
Physically fit.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was clear they ain't climbed shit since they was 7. You know, some of them couldn't do it. You know, some of them was like stuck on the edge. And so I'm trying to pull some of them up. I'm like, you got your big ass in Walmart khaki stuck in the middle of the motherfucking wall. You don't just start climbing walls. You gotta really be about that life.
Like, you should have prepared better, man. You should have done some push-ups or something.
You gotta train. You don't just start climbing a wall one day with cameras and your big ass on the wall trying to climb. That's it. These niggas out here climbing walls looking like some motherfucking monkeys escaped from a fucking national zoo.
They would have got caught by the lion.
The fuck? I was like, I need to slide down the wall in disbelief. I can't do this. Y'all, just imagine. That's like one of these. Somebody was at the bottom of that wall. Darth Vader.
Yes, somebody.
And they was like, go. Go.
Here, get on my shoulders. Get on my shoulders. Damn.
Your dungarees. Like, I don't ever want to see the crotch of your dungarees on CNN again. Motherfucking comedy hour. I said I should have took off work so I could properly enjoy this shit. Well, when we get done with this, just Google that shit. And it's like them at different stages.
I know.
Some of them.
Like...
You're going to see all type of Walmart dungarees.
Oh.
Crotches and shit. Just some big middle-aged Spider-Man. Just fucking, come on, man. But what about the ones that arrived in fatigues and helmets?
What do you think that was about? It was like obviously their version of an army, or, you know.
Horny son of a bitch. What the fuck you got on?
You can't even.
You left the house with a helmet, nigga?
Yeah. You look like a damn fool. You look foolish. Here's a tip. Have some better riot gear. Gosh.
And I know that there was a diversity of motivation in people and intent in that group.
Absolutely.
I do understand that.
The zip ties told it all, but.
Right. And we're just focusing on the ones that crack me up. I do know that this was a little serious, but.
All right. What about the ones who peed in the hallway?
Oh, Lord. Lord. Oh,
what?
My gosh.
What would possess you?
You pulled it out. You whipped it out. In those hallowed halls.
Like a fucking kindergartner. What the fuck?
How do you get there? How do you
justify that in your head? Like,
right,
I know
like,
what I'm going to do.
I know.
Yeah, I got an idea. Hey, let's all do it. Everybody's doing it. Come on.
Pop. And then some people pop the spot. And people were shitting. People shat, if that's the past tense of it, if you will.
No.
Yes, people shat throughout the Capitol.
Now that's some bullshit.
That's some bullshit. But they did.
Guys.
They straight up did. Again, whenever I hear stuff like that, I just think like...
You see me now shit in the hallway. How do we continue this relationship? Do we go home after that? We just... All right, you want to get something to eat?
Pizza?
Okay, let's go.
And did you have tissue on you to cleanse yourself? Or did you just walk out with shit on your ass? I'm
going to bet that they didn't have tissue. Because who plans to shit in the hallway? I'm going to bet they didn't have tissue.
Know.
So that means your shitty ass was walking around for the rest of the day.
Because you had a point to make.
You made your point, damn it. But you smell like shit.
Right. You need some motherfucking butt paste, but you all right.
Have mercy.
There is some behavior that there is no coming back from.
Yeah.
Like you can't unsee it. You can't.
Let's not look at each other. Let's not ever talk about this again. Let's never ever talk about this. Did anybody wear masks? There were a lot of people without masks.
Right. I think most of them didn't even have masks on.
That's another thing you shouldn't do as a rioter. It was a perfect opportunity to wear masks. I mean, we are in the middle of a pandemic.
But you know, I had a friend that flew out of that area the following day, and the planes in the airport were full. full of these people.
Are you serious?
And they were still causing trouble, refusing to wear masks, just high off of the
oh my gosh
rioting.
That's a little frightening. That's a little bit
very much
disconcerting.
So. Very much so.
But that's how we can identify you guys, because you didn't wear your mask.
You didn't wear your mask, so. It's definitely serious business. But, sometimes you gotta make light of some aspects of it, but we understand the brevity of it.
Gotta laugh to keep from crying sometimes.
That's right. That's right.
This electro-punk banger is from a group called Control Drop out of Brighton, UK, and this is called Ownership.
It reminds me somewhat of grunge characteristics from the early 90s.
It does, yeah.
Which is a warm place for me.
It is. It is. We kind of grew up on that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about your Teen Spirit and
exactly.
Your Courtney Love and
yep.
It's kind of reminiscent of that.
It is. I like it.
I'm hooked, if that's what you call it.
Yeah. They're talking about ownership. Ownership.
I want your ownership. I want your body on a goddamn
leash. Ownership.
Now they're gonna have me singing that in my
that's
head.
Gonna be in my head for I don't know how long. I think that it is very forward.
Definitely forward.
Artistically forward.
For sure.
And bold in this era where hip hop and R&B runs everything to even lead with music without any. I mean, that bass line is hard.
The bass line is hard, but plus she's rapping pretty much.
Yeah, that's true. So there's some of that. I like it. I mean, some of the visuals. Some
the visuals I can't watch again.
At the end, it's a little rough. I mean, I have a weak.
What do you think that meant? Yeah, that's hard for me. I have a I'm very squeamish.
Yeah, but that might be a little bit more just me. But I like it, and again, some of it reminds me of some of the Courtney Love, Nirvana era music, some of the nonconformist type stuff, and I like that.
I like it too.
Yeah. But you know what? It's also interesting, like when you see things that are different, because you're sort of getting an insight into what could possibly be the next wave. Mm-hmm. And it makes me curious. And I wonder if this could be part of the next wave.
I think it's niche-y. I think there's a niche for it. I don't see it being mainstream, but I think that's their point. I don't think they want to be mainstream.
Yeah.
But I can see it being like a cult.
Right. They could have a following for sure. For sure. Because he described it as EDM / what?
Electro-punk.
Okay.
Let's see. They are considered an electro-punk band, but it's EDM-inspired electro-punk and quasi-satirical female pop.
Okay.
I can see the satirical and the quasi-satirical female pop.
And as soon as the music came on, I started moving.
Me too. I was like,
which
bob my head.
Yes, which is crazy. So imagine if you're somewhere with the energy of a whole room.
And that on the
music,
that bass
line, yeah, you're gonna hunch a few people.
And I love, and I think you share this with me. I love a good headbanger.
Yes, absolutely.
I miss that in my life. That's something we don't, or maybe I'm not privy to where it is. But back in the day, we used to crank some headbanging. Some Metallica. Who's the other group we used to listen to? Red Hot Chili Peppers, which is really considered alternative.
Right, but was like that's fun times, man.
We used to
times. Oh my gosh.
He was like,
that's hilarious. Right. I like it. So, have you ever heard of a platonic life partnership?
Platonic life partnership? No. Tell me more about that.
This is apparently not a new concept, but is becoming more popular. And essentially, it is a committed relationship to someone that doesn't involve romance or sex. So, it's a platonic marriage.
Okay.
It's a legal union based on like a spiritual connection or practical love rather than on sexual or romantic love.
I think all marriages become that eventually. Though.
That's interesting you should say that because I kind of think so too. And so does the research actually.
Really?
They can happen with same-sex friends because sex isn't a factor. So it really doesn't matter. Okay. So it can be like two girlfriends or two guy friends.
That part I have to wrap my mind around, but okay.
Or it can be a woman and a man.
Legally though? If they legally, they're going to legally partner up?
They can legally now because the definition of marriage has changed. So now it can because marriage now is voluntary. It's a legal union of a couple as spouses. So whether those spouses are sexual or not isn't designated by the law. And two people who decide to legally wed platonically are legally and socially recognized as a married couple and granted the same rights as any other legally married couple. They can file taxes together. They can raise children together. They can be considered next of kin if medical issues arise. And if things don't work out, they can go through the divorce process like any married couple.
I like it. I think
like it.
I like it. How long is this? How old is this concept? How old is the whole legality of it all?
I think the legality of it is only as old as the new concept of like
same-sex marriage.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's great. Why not?
So why not? So for example, there's one case study they did. It's these two girls that were best friends since they were 12, and now they're in their early 20s. And they said that when the pandemic hit, they graduated from college and they felt this gravitational pull towards each other. And that
sounds romantic.
I know, but they're saying it isn't. They say they just work so well together. They support each other and love each other. And they just never see themselves leaving each other. And so they say, so why is this not a stable foundation to start life and start a family and all those things? Why is that not as stable, even more stable than a traditional romantic marriage? So these are two young women in their early 20s who have
I think they'll change their minds.
According to them, they won't.
Yeah, they don't know. They're kids. Far be it from me to, I guess it could happen. I can't imagine that. I'm trying to wrap my head around that. But maybe are they being honest with themselves?
So this is what they say. I know, because it caused me quite a bit of pause as well. So they say that they weren't ever interested in marriage to begin with, neither of them. But then with each other, they suddenly saw the future and they were like, this fits. I would like to do this with you. And so for a moment, I thought, are these two young women asexual?
It could be. I have mixed emotions about that part. I have mixed emotions about that because I think that on some level, it makes sense if you have a same-sex romantic relationship that is now recognized as a legal union. That makes sense to me. It doesn't make as much sense to me to just be partnered up with a friend, somebody and it's not romantic.
Right.
But I guess but then again, push back on that, because I'm pushing back on myself right now.
Well, so part of the argument is that and a lot of it is because of mainstream media and culture and what we're fed, is that we're fed to believe that romantic love in the hierarchy of love is the top love and the ultimate goal. But statistically speaking, the odds are not really good in terms of longevity for romantic love. However, you tend to have your friendship last longer than your sexual things and your romantic loves, you know, if they're the same or different, in that statistically speaking, again, you have a higher probability of your platonic bond lasting than you do your romantic. And to your initial point, most or many marriages turn into that anyway. Then why is it such a crazy concept to maybe say, hey, I'm starting out like that? Even though looking at like this particular case, I can't imagine me and I'm a product of my culture though. I can't imagine me as a young 24-year-old woman with my friend going, we are in a deep platonic love and we should get married and get a joint bank account, buy a house and start. I can't imagine that. That's like such a revolutionary thought for me. But I don't know. But okay, so one example. So what about like the Golden Girls?
The Golden Girls, I think that probably worked better because you don't depend or rely on just one person. So it's like a group of us. We're like cousins or sisters.
Yeah. And so like the other example they have was between a man and a woman, but they were also in their early 20s. And they said that it just made sense and that their life goals aligned with their best friends and they wanted to raise their kids together. And their quote was, there's no reason to keep on waiting to hopefully find a partner who is going to align with all those things that also happen to be romantic and or sexual in nature, when it just made sense to start building the life that we wanted to live together.
To have sex, to have a kid, or with each other?
What they did was they adopted a son.
Oh, okay.
And then they got platonically married.
I guess they could be asexual. Yeah, like you said. I mean,
but I don't think they're not asexual though. Everything else lined up, their values, how to raise a child, that they wanted a child, I guess their finances. And so instead of waiting, like, hopefully I'll meet someone romantically where all of these things also line up, they were like, fuck it. Let's just platonically get married. They adopted the son.
I dig it. That works.
And moved on with it.
What's wrong with that? I think that's kind of genius, actually.
Yeah. So they're in a committed relationship with someone that does not involve romance or sex.
Because then there's no emotion. You know, there's no emotion tied to it. You know, you do what you gonna do. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. And we still love each other. I don't know. I like it. I dig it.
But like you said, how many people's relationships have evolved into this any fucking way? And they're
all
just
not. I said it.
They're not titling it that. And even so, the certified clinical sexologist said that platonic partnership can absolutely be as successful as a traditional marriage because the partnership is based on shared values.
So what does success mean? I would like to know what success means. They can be successful.
I guess successful in the sense of what people consider a successful traditional marriage, which is you're happy, you share the same values like they say, you're raising happily kids, your finances are good, you agree on basic things.
Yeah, I would say, I don't know about the finances thing, but my interpretation of successful would be, I don't hate you yet, we're good. That's successful to me. You have, you're communicating well, like you said about values.
Yeah. So the experts are saying that if you want to create a partnership based on values that are meaningful to you as individuals, that they actually think that this is a better model than the notion of romance, because we all know that romance is fickle and fleeting. I mean, what we've learned here on the previous episode is love is a bitch and a whore.
And you got that right.
We dug into that and concluded that. So why
the emotion is?
Yeah. So why put everything based on something like that, which we know is fickle? So they're saying to rely on something as unreliable as romance for a contract as heavy as co-parenting and marriage seems to be why these things seem to be so diametrically opposed on some level.
I love it though. What year was this written? Do you have any idea?
This year.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I believe it.
And so this is the point when I was kind of like, okay, kind of was buying into it a little bit more. Cause like when I first started looking at it, they're talking and I'm thinking, where's the dick?
Fair question.
What the fuck y'all doing?
Fair
Where's
question.
the dick?
Maybe they bought one.
Listen, I
Put
want
it in
a
the
natural
dishwasher.
blood flow. I want a natural blood flow to my dick.
Speak for yourself, man.
I wanted to maintain its own body temperature. But the more I looked, I was kind of like, okay, you're building a case. And okay, so they further expanded this concept because they made the point that historically marriage was not about love.
It was not about, what about arranged marriages? What about the dowry that people would pay for their, you got 7 cows for this girl? Here you go.
Romantic love is still a fairly new concept that historically marriage was about asset management.
Yes.
So even
I've said this for like several years now.
Yeah. So this concept or this definition of how they're saying platonic marriage is probably more aligned with the historical origins of marriage more so than how we're executing marriage today with under the romantic notion. And that's the truth. So they're saying, you know, platonic partnership is more focused around mutual benefit.
I mean, think about it. I mean, if we did everything like we do marriage here.
And people get married because someone made their genital tingle.
Yes.
You know?
I don't know if that's the best reason.
But it's a reason. So people are saying that this is just a more realistic and honest way to look at marriage. So,
yeah, I support it.
So they say that there are 2 groups where this is more likely to work for. One is the boomer generation. And these are people who are coming out of, well, they're saying the boomer generation, people that are coming out of 2nd or 3rd marriages. Many of them are saying, I don't want to go back into a traditional marriage. But you know what? Everybody that I know that's married say that if anything happens to their husband, there's no way in hell they'd get another one.
Yeah, because it can work. It's not
Everybody says that. So I guess people like that, this could maybe work for somebody like that.
That's true. But do you think boomers would go for it? I don't see boomers as being real flexible. They have their views about, aren't they the ones who were saying no to same-sex marriages and whatnot?
Yeah.
I don't know. Boomers, let me know. I don't know. I just don't see them as doing that. I see that more as a Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z. Because the 20-year-olds, those are Gen Z, right?
Right.
But it probably would work best for
on
the what? On the boomers?
Yeah, I try not to comment publicly on baby boomers. That is
why? Got some unpopular opinions about the boomers.
They get on my fucking nerves. All right, me and boomers.
Let me hold her back. Back.
Hold my beer. Okay.
All right, sometimes.
But they some.
Yeah.
They some. So, but you are correct. And then the other group are the youngsters who they're saying that probably that could have grown up single parent families who don't necessarily believe in the romance story. And they say they can make their own rules. So they're more open because it gives them more freedom, you know, so they're more likely to do it. So
yeah, I can see that. I'm not mad at it. I'm here for it.
These people are also saying, though, that they still will date romantically outside of their platonic marriage.
Yeah.
And that they are a package deal.
Yeah.
And they explain that to people. That's deep to me.
I think that has to be, especially if they're not asexual. If you're not asexual, then like you said, the D got to come around at some point. I mean, somebody got to get.
Thank you for listening. If you like what you heard, review, subscribe, and share. It helps other listeners find us. And don't forget to follow us at Yummy Fearless on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and even Pinterest, where you'll find additional content from today's show and also our highly curated He Can Get It list. As always, you can listen to the Yummy and Fearless podcast with the SideChicks on Apple iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, and Spotify. And if no one else has told you today, we love you and thank you so much for listening.